Hey campers, George here, back in the man cave. If you saw my last video, you know I've now got knives I gotta fix, right? Well, let's find out about some of them and see what we can do. Let's check it out. These knives, like I said, came from Kevin, the knife doctor, and he had sent me a bunch. I'm sure you saw the video. So I just picked out 3 that I wanted to look at. He had sent me these knives and he said, you know, they're a little beat up and they need some love. I want you to do that. And what I want to do is look at them, figure out what they are, and then what needs to be done to them. And here are the 3 here. And you can see I have them in baggies. There's a whole bunch on the bench over there that I went through and found out what they are, at least the manufacturer and the model and that sort of thing. Very basic, just to label them so that I know roughly what they are and put them into bags. I had knives lying everywhere. The place was a disaster, and you might have noticed I did some cleanup. And one thing I'm sure you've noticed, see that right there? I have a new wall of shame. So if you have any stickers, like if you have a channel or whatever, and you want to send them to me, address is in the description below. Send me your channel stickers. We'll put them on the wall of shame. The more the merrier. And you know what? If you don't have a channel, that's okay. You find a sticker that you think, that's pretty cool, you can send it to me and it'll go on the wall of shame. So if you would like to do that, please, my PO box is in the description. Send them. See them? Here is one here. And this one, what I wrote on the piece of paper, Camelus from Kevin. And here it is here. I got to tell you that I looked at this knife, a very cool knife. Look at it. Now, it's got a little bit of rust and stuff on it. Needs to be cleaned up and given some love. It has a bail. It is a really, I like this knife. Now, Kevin said to me in his note that if you look carefully in there, there is right there, you see that one in between the 2 silver blades, a brass liner. And it's a liner lock. It snaps over to hold one of the blades. The blade that it holds, I didn't know what that blade was. And of course, you guys came through for me, and a guy said, you know what, that's an electrician's knife. That's the blade they have. They use it for stripping and yada, yada, yada. So very cool. Very cool. I'm going to open it up for you here, and you can see, you know, the blade needs some work. And if you look on there, it says Camelus, New York, with USA underneath it. So hopefully we can at least get a rough date on it. That will be cool. A true working knife. It is an electrician's knife. You know it was used for work. So here's the main blade, which is kind of a spear point. And then the other blade is this guy. And I didn't know what this was. I was a little confused because I'd seen them, but I never knew what they were really for. Well, yep, electrician's knife. And it's got a screwdriver head and a nice sharp blade. And this on the back here, which I believe they used to strip wire with. I'm not sure. Here you are here, 2 blades. One is lockable. And it's this one here. And if you look, it actually locked. It would work sometimes, but only just move over. And if you're looking here, you'll see that move. Okay. And that's the lock. Well, it hasn't. It missed. I can close it. It's just catching. Literally just catching. You fiddle, there you go. You fiddle with it like this, and it releases. So the lock is not flicking over. Now, what I did find was if I pull back on the blade like that, it snaps over. Now you can see the lock is right behind the blade. No movement whatsoever. So we have to look at that. It might just need a bit of cleaning up, maybe a little bit more tension put on the spring. We'll have to have a look at that. You know, the blades. This one's not too bad, but the other one has been well used. And here you can see it needs some love. and clean it up and everything. It has a bail. For some reason, I really like a bail on a knife. I know a lot of people don't. I just think it's a cool thing. It's something that people did back in the day. Knife. So this guy, we're going to have to clean the blades, and see what we can do about that liner lock. And this is, like I said, if we look on the blade here, look at it, you can see it there. It says Camillus, New York, USA. Let's check that out. And if we look here, I think I've got some info for you, and that'll tell us all about it. And if you look, there's the info. Now the other two are, at first when I picked this guy up out of the collection that he had sent me, I was like, oh, this looks like a Victorinox. And I thought, that's cool. But then I looked closely, and if you look at the badge, you can see it's worn away. It kind of sort of looks like a cross, but it's not. It's actually that double cross tree looking thing. And I thought, oh, okay, I wonder what that is. And it looks very Sackish, Victorinox-ish. Very, very similar. You can see the blades, and they need a lot of work. See that? They're pretty beat up. But they're all there, and they all do what they're meant to. Here you can see we've got a can opener, bottle opener, screwdriver, and this nice big flat spear point, and we have the awl there. We got to figure out what it is. So, can you see that? It says Colonial. You'll be able to see more. See there? Colonial Providence, USA. Finding information on colonial knives is non-existent. Read a lot of stuff, and I went to the Blade Forum, and I found a forum there where the gentleman is actually the owner of Colonial Knives, like the great-great-grandson of the guy who started it. And he was asked how to date a colonial knife. And he said, well, you can't. They didn't really keep track of it. He said I think his great-grandfather had an encyclopedia memory when it comes to what knives they had made. You could show him a knife and he said, oh, this was like the 50s, or this was whatever. But he said, nobody today, we didn't keep any track of it. So unfortunately, it's hard to figure it out. I did have a subscriber in the comments said to me, I'm not sure if it was a subscriber, but he commented and he said, yeah, there's no way to do this, but you can get a rough indicator by what the scales are made of, what the steel is, that sort of thing. So I don't want to take it apart. I'm just going to try and clean it up as much as I can, get rid of all the rust, and make it a lot prettier. And maybe if you look at that badge, it is like scratched into the actual scale, and it's a little bit sunk in. And I'm wondering if we put some paint over there, very lightly, and then rub off the excess, if we can bring that badge out. But we'll have a look-see. Now this next one, when I opened this up and I looked, I'm fairly familiar with looks of European folding knives, older ones or traditional. Obviously the Opinel for me is the big one. There is another one, Antonini, is MAM knives as well. Now when I looked at this guy looked like an Opinel that had been modified, and then I looked closer. When I looked at the handle and I saw the handle, let me show you the guy. Here he is here. See that? And it has that Opinel locking kind of thing. It's not the same, it's a little different, but the principle is the same. The handle is a really nice dark wood handle. You can see it there. Now, unfortunately, it's been beaten up here. But if you look at the shape of the handle, when I turn it like that, can you see that? It's got that flat edge on it. You see that? And when I looked at it, I was like, well, it's a MAM. Because all the MAMs I own, I don't own a lot, I have like 4 of them, all have that same handle shape. It flat like that. And they do have this twist lock on it. The blade on this, let me open it up. The lock kind of sort of works. It's very loose. You see that? It's kind of floppy. We can fix that. Blade looks just like an opalong. Has that saberish look to it. Full flat grind. And it says this on it. And as hard as I tried, I could not figure out what it says. And guess what? Somebody came through in the comments and said, this is and I can't remember it is, this is what he called it. And it's basically a really bad copy of an Opinel, what he basically said. So I can see that, but it's cool. It's different. It's, for me, it's certainly a different knife. On the tang, the stamp on the tang there, you can see it actually says made in France. So very cool. Maybe we can do something with the handle, tighten this up, clean up the blade, and give it a good cleanup. So there you go. We three mice needing some love. I've got to look these guys up and get the dating on this and see if I can find any information on them. And I'll give you all that stuff. Let's go do some real work. So I'm at the workbench here, and I just want to show you something. I have evaporust, mineral oil, alcohol, and WD-40. Now, the first time I did any sort of restoring, all I had was WD-40. That's all I had available to me. I had mineral oil and alcohol. Well, you guys came back and said, try these things for rust and that. One of the guys said to me, try this, it works really well. And it's evaporust, which I got actually down the road. There is a Harbor Freight. And I went down there. That was a mistake. I ended up buying other stuff as well. But the first thing I want to do is this guy here. So what I want to do is I want to get all the rust off of it. So especially on the blades. It's not too bad inside. There's a little bit on here. So having read the instructions on this, and they're very adamant about things, they're like, you got to prep it. Make sure that you clean everything. Make sure it's clean. Use some alcohol to get any excess bad rust or anything like that off. And then soak it in a little jar, covering the whole thing. And they do say here, it does not affect anything like that. It won't harm sensitive material like copper, brass, aluminum, plastic, rubber, or vinyl. Just pour, soak, rinse, and reuse. So we'll start with this guy. So while we let that soak a while, I thought I'd share my new board with you. Now, I did transfer a lot of the stickers from here onto there. I basically, and of course I do have a spam sticker, mine. Here is a 60s sticker that was sent to me by a gentleman in New Mexico. And he sent, and it says the 60s, and of course I'm a 60s baby. This little sticker here, up in the top right hand corner there, you see there, it says, the simpler the outfit, the more skill it takes to manage it, and the more pleasure one gets in his achievements. Pretty cool. And that was Horace Kephart, 1910. That was sent to me by a young lady who has her own channel. I'll put information down there. She restores furniture and things like that. And of course my sticker here is, somewhere in the world someone is training when you are not. When you meet them in battle, they will win. And it was Miyamoto Muskox. I like that saying, and she had sent me that as well. Here's William's Knife Life, Thrifty Knifty, Terry's Knives, Hambone Blades, Knife Delights, D's Knives, A&W, or AW, Robidoux Creek Outdoors, JO Adventures, and this one here is from one of the usual suspects. You all know Lee, guy I go walkabout and things with. He designed this for the Winter Campion Symposium. If you have ever been to the Boundary Waters, you know what that is. It's their porta potty. There's some of them here. Now, there is a couple of you that have sent me, and I couldn't get your stickers off my work board on my desk, so I've left them there. But if you'd like to send me stickers, please do. Okay, it's been sitting in there for about 5-10 minutes. So I'm just going to pull it out and let's see if any of this will come out. I took my gloves off and I'm going to do that right now. They say avoid skin and eye contact, so keep that in mind. Okay. Wow. Huh. Look at that. I wonder if we... Can you see that? Oh! I'm not even rubbing hard with this. Just using some Scotch-Brite here. Look at that. Ha! It's just rubbing off. Look at this. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. The lighting's not perfect, but look at that. Compared to the way it was before, see that? Wow. It took it right off. Now I just need to polish this guy. Huh. The handle looks okay. Maybe it had some rust on the back there. Oh. Look at this. Took all that rust off. I can't believe how well this cleans up. So I've got to rinse it with water. I'll do that, but while I do that, now I'm really excited. This guy, remember this guy? Look at these blades. This Colonial, they're pretty marked up. I'm going to leave them in there for a while I clean this guy up. See the blades? See that? Hopefully it'll take that all off. Put some oil in there and maybe we'll give it a polish. Look how easy it is to read this now. Wow. It really cleaned it up. I am impressed. Wonder if it helped this. Let's see. Snap is in there good. Seems to be working now. Okay, it's been in here a couple of hours, and let's see what we can do with it. I'm going to soak it some more. I think I'll show you what I'm seeing here. Look at the gap here between these liners. Look how big it is there, and then it gets really small and it's bigger here. But here I see a problem. Wow. Look at that. Can you see how the bottom here, these are actually opening up like that. Close together at the bottom, wide open on the top. I think I'm going to take this apart, clean it all up, and try and put it back together. I might have some pins that I can use, or I know where I can get some, I hope. And tomorrow we'll deal with this one. I've been looking at it, and I think I know a way to fix it. And it comes apart real easy, I think. It's just screwed. Morning, campers. Bright and early this morning. So I left this knife to soak overnight. But I was thinking about it, and I think because of all the bends and everything in it, I'm going to wipe it down, get rid of as much rust as I can. Then I'm going to take it apart, clean it up, straighten things, and let's see what we can do. I want to have a look at this guy. Remember this guy? The Opinel wannabe or whatever. You can see it there. It's actually in pretty good condition. The blade got overheated there. Is it a big deal? Probably not. This is loose, the lock. And of course the big deal is this, the handle. Now I looked up the information on it. This is the name of the company. They are no longer in business. But we're going to have to tighten it up, which means going to have to take it apart. The blade is okay. It's just this handle. What to do, what to do. The other problem with that is, okay, the handle is worn away here, and it is below the tip of the blade. So if I try and get rid of this, the blade's going to stick out. Now, there's a couple of things you can do. You can change the shape of the blade or dig in. All I'm going to do is reshape the handle to it. I want to keep it as close to as it was as possible. And this is the Joker. They have two kinds like this. Then you have Antonini. Look at that. So this is an Opinel number 9. This is probably closer to a number 8. So you can see there. And there's no flat on the Opinel handle. So let's take this guy apart and see if we can fix it. And you can see it's just a twist lock, and it has a screw pin in it. It screws into each other, male and female. It is a Sabre style full flat grind, and it says made in France on the tang. Wasn't even on there tight. So here we are in all our glory. Let's go work on this guy, and we have to do that in the South 40 man cave. So we got the handle. What I'm thinking of doing here is making this thinner, going thinner down here, and bringing this down into a more curved shape, and hopefully we can get rid of that. The problem we have, though, of course, is the blade sticking out. So here we have the rough shape. I want to see where the blade sits now. So there you can see the problem. Now this is even going to come down probably a little more when I clean it up, which means we have to drop that blade. I think all it's going to take is lengthening the slot a little bit. So let's try that. Closer. Gonna have to keep working at it. It's not going in all the way. Blade is sitting in there nice. I certainly would want to Loctite these screws because you know you're going to lose them. I mean, just a touch, just to hold it in, so you can get them back out. You're not going to strip them or anything. We're trying to get them out. Let's go oil this thing up and put a little bit of oil in there. Ideally, you want to melt wax in here, in this pivot point. When the wood gets wet, it swells, and makes it almost impossible to get this out. But if you melt wax into here, it melts into the wood as well. It sinks into the wood. Kind of makes it a little bit waterproof, so it doesn't swell as much. Very cool. Let's go and clean up the blade and oil up the handle. And the boss is in for the weekly safety check, complaining about too many dirty rags, suspect liquids. She's had an attitude lately. So I went through and just got rid of the scratches, the deeper scratches on the blade. Also managed to get rid of that darkened, burnt look. Now I'm going to oil this with some mineral oil and put it in there as well. Get it to soak in there. So here you can see it here. Put the oil on. I'll probably put more oil on again, let it soak some more until it won't soak in anymore. So now you can see the handle, shaped different, but we got rid of the broken stuff, cleaned it up somewhat. The lock works pretty good now. It's nice, and it's just stiff enough the way it should be, and it locks a lot better now. Look at that. So there you go. Another one down. Let's get that other one stripped up. Okay, because I don't know what I'm doing, I'm to get these out. Wasn't sure which side to start from. I'm going to start from this, and I'm going to try and drill this out. Pin is coming out. See that? Maybe we can pull it out. There we are. So it's just one hollow pin that they put through and then spread the outer thing. Now I'm going to do the other two. Here you can see the pins. The bail was just a hook system. Here it is here. I didn't want to pull anything apart. I just wanted to show you what fell out and where I think they go. These on this side, that on that side. And these, I believe, are springs, right? Okay. 2 hours later, after going back through my videos and taking snapshots from it, I think I got it figured out. So here's the layout. And what I'm going to do is just take each thing, check it out, straighten it, clean it up, do it, and put it back in order. I hope it's right. So here you can see how I've laid out. So I soaked each thing and then went through and cleaned them up. Got rid of the rust. Obviously, there's a lot of pitting on it. And I believe this is the correct order that they go in. I mean, these will go in afterwards. And I believe the correct way to put it together, I'm guessing here because, yeah, this is my first time, is you want to put the pivot in first, and then you're going to put, you know, the blades and everything into that. You're going to start with the pivot. See the problem? This guy. It bends in. I'm going to try and straighten that guy. Of messing around, I finally got the springs and everything in and locked in. Now I got to put it together. I got to pin it together. So that's what's next. This is turning into a project. Yeah, things were going swimmingly. I had it all together. I cleaned it all up. You can see it here. It's all been cleaned up. I'd cleaned all the blades and everything, got it together, and went to put the scales on. And therein is the problem. I decided to put in the steel-colored pins. Well, you know, there's certain things you have to do when you check. These are the ones I used. These are the ones I should have. I should have known just by the weight. Yeah, the ones I cut and tried to pin were a stainless steel pin. Pinning those was a problem. I got one in just fine. When I went to go and put the third one in, it bent. I was having to tap really hard with the hammer. It was concerning me and I couldn't figure out why. Now I know. Should have gone with the aluminum pins. While doing that, I bent the pin and broke a scale. That was the beginning. It had cracked, so I thought I've got to take it off and work. That turned into an absolute disaster. Landed up totally destroying the scale. Yeah, look. While trying to hammer it out, the pin slid on the side. I made the hole really bigger. It split more. I damaged it. Anything you don't want to do, I managed to do. I have no choice but to make new scales. And I'm going to do that. This video for you and me was a big learning experience. So, lesson learned. However, I do have these. And I'm going to use these as templates and make new scales. That'll be a separate video. It'll be I made a boo-boo and now I have to fix it video. So I'm sorry, you know, 2 out of 3 is not good enough for me, but this was a learning video. And of course, these guys, I'm very pleased with it. This knife is awesome. Look at this guy. Turned out beautiful. Electrician's knife. Very nice. It's clean. It just needed to be cleaned up and it did that really nicely. Look how clean it is inside. Scales are in really good condition. Even this guy cleaned up nicely. The blades really cleaned up nicely. I just got to sharpen them quickly. I'm just going to touch them up. That's all they need. I like this though. Beautiful knife. It would be a great work EDC. Then this guy really worked out nice. It's still in almost its original condition. The only difference is the handle shape has changed. So very excited about this one as well. So that'll be a video coming up. It'll include the fix and I will quickly show you how I made the sheaths and how they fit. That's the plan. I'm sorry, this video has gone long enough. I have now decided one repair at a time. Lesson learned. You all be safe out there, especially when doing this stuff. I made a boo-boo. Look at that. I didn't slice my thumb. I was using this awl to line up the holes for the pins. And I was getting it through and I was pushing it and it came through straight into my thumb. That stung. But don't forget, like, share, subscribe. Everything's going wrong on this one. Really appreciate you watching. Sorry about the mess. But, as you know on my channel, you see what you see. What happens is what you get. It's the only way to learn. Appreciate you watching. See you again soon.